Does this sound familiar? You're always trying to change me. This is who I am. You need to accept that this is who I am. Stop trying to change who I am. This is how you met me, and this is me, the authentic me. And everything you're doing, trying to change me, is just issing me off. Does that sound familiar to any of you? I have heard that so many times during couples counseling, or I've heard it in other people's dynamic in interacting with their partners. There's always one person that is adamant that the behavior that they're participating in is their personality. Let me be clear on this. Selfishness is not a personality trait. Trying to control is not a personality trait. Neither is anger. Anger is not something you're born with. Anger is something that you insulate yourself with to protect yourself, or because you don't know how to communicate effectively. So anger, selfishness, and control, or a controlling person, that's not who you were born to be. That's the behavior that you've adopted because you don't know how to change that behavior to become a better person. I know some of you are saying, listen, lady, you don't know what the heck you're talking about. This is who I've always been. No, at some point you have to be able to separate your character from your behavior. How many babies do you hold and say, this is a selfish baby? How many babies do you hold and say, you know what, that baby is really controlling? Not that children cannot manipulate, but I'm just saying, right? Most children are not born selfish. They're not born controlling, and they're not born angry. They may become angry toddlers because it's about manipulation and they can't get their way. But what I'm trying to say is behavior and personality traits are two different things. So a lot of times though, when people are saying, you know what, you're trying to control me, you're trying to change me, there's another dynamic happening there. And the dynamic is that the person that is saying those words is someone that has determined within themselves that they do not want to change, or they do not want to put the work in to change, or they've accepted that this really is who they are, that the behavior that they have learned over the years that can be destructive to themselves and to others is really who they are. And they don't want to put in the work to transform or change themselves. And is it your job to change the person? Not at all. It is not your job to tell somebody else that they need to change. But a lot of times when women or men in relationships are saying, you know what, they're pointing out things about you that they may not like, or things about you that could be disturbing, that it could cause problems in a relationship. That's all they're doing. They're just telling you that there's an issue or something that you're dealing with, or something in your personality or your behavior that can call that needs to be corrected so that you guys can get on the same page. Nobody's trying to change anybody. I've heard that before too, my own relationship. I'm not trying to change anyone. I pretty much am good at accepting the person as I see them, but is not fair to point out when something is detrimental to the relationship as a whole. So self-introspection. I am a big proponent of self-introspection. I got to the place I am today because I practice it. I practice it on a continuous basis. I'm always asking myself how I can be better, how my behavior can improve, how my attitude can improve, how I can be a better person, a better mother, a better sister, a better friend, all across the board. I'm always trying to be better. And that requires self-introspection. And people who say that they don't want to change or do not want to put any effort to change, let me suggest this to you. I could be wrong. I don't have all the answers. I'm not perfect. But here's a suggestion. Maybe you don't do enough self-introspection followed by action. But because you can say, this is who I am all day long. But suppose it's not really who you are. Suppose there's a better version of you inside there that you haven't tapped into, that you're not willing to explore because it would make you vulnerable. Most of the time in my profession, when people hold on to anger, selfishness, or control, is simply because it's used as a defense mechanism to protect them from possible pain or possible judgment. So they reinforce themselves with this barrier that allows them to stay invisible or to be accepted the way they want to be. Just food for thought. Not taking or accepting negative behaviors is key. Those behaviors that I outline specifically are behaviors that will contaminate you as person. They're not designed to help you grow spiritually. They're designed to limit your spiritual growth. If you're about growing spiritually, some people are like, I don't give a crap about growing spiritually. I understand that too. But if you're not growing spiritually, how about just growth as a human being? How about just becoming a better person for yourself and other people benefiting from that? I don't purport that other people become better for somebody else. I'm a firm believer in that you need to become your best self for yourself, and then other people can benefit from that. Saying this is who I am means you've accepted the fact or that you cannot change. You just feel like you cannot change. And people that say this a lot are people that really truly have accepted that this is who they are. They're like, I'm an old curmudgeonous humbug. I'm Scrooge and I'm fine with being Scrooge. I mean, after all, Scrooge does make a lot of millions at the movie theater, but he is a fictional character, right? A fictional character. So you don't want to be Scrooge. You don't want to be seen as this person that is so, closed off and so grumpy and so into your own emotions that are negative that other people don't want to be around you. And like I said, that's a defense mechanism. If that works for you and you don't want to be seen by others, don't want to be bothered by others, some people are good at masking themselves by building that wall. But how do you as a person or a partner deal with someone who's constantly telling you that they're not going to change or they're not changing? That's your choice. It comes down to choice. It comes down to acceptance. You can't throw the baby with the bathwater, right? A lot of people are staying in relationships because of that notion that they cannot throw the baby with the bathwater. A lot of people stay in relationships because they weigh the pros and cons and they're like, well, there are more good qualities than bad. So they settle with the bad, but the bad still, it still engages in the relationship and it can still cause some conflict or some discomfort in the relationship. But you have to accept whether or not you are willing to put up with this person's behavior. But I still think that you should tell the person about their behavior if you can, because sometimes you can't really have a conversation with people who don't want to hear what you have to say. And most often than not, people that get into a relationship with someone who says they do not want to change, you cannot change them. And again, I don't think the person is trying to change you. I think the person is trying to point out how you can become a better person or a better human being. It's because that person has found somebody who will put up with them the way they are. They found somebody who's accepted their behavior, tolerates their behavior to the point where they're allowed to practice and promote that behavior. That's just the way it is. You know yourself better than anybody else knows you, right? So therefore, you know what you were doing when you got into a relationship with someone that will eventually see who you are. And people are good at masking that. I have some clients who they don't even know who they're married to. They don't know if they don't understand the person. Like I said in my other video, it takes a long time to get to know someone. It could be a lifetime and beyond that. Anyhow, the bottom line is if you know something, if you feel that you want to change, if you're aware that the behavior that you practice is not truly your identity and you want to stop the behavior, you can choose to do something about it. It's a choice for you as well. The person who's saying that they don't want to change, the person who wants total acceptance, despite the fact that they have compromised themselves or they don't allow themselves to do the work. I wrote something here and I wanted to get it right. If you do not do something about it, I said, reach out for help. It's not a characteristic, but more importantly, you may have succeeded in having somebody that indulges you and accepts you as you are. But have you compromised your happiness by choosing and not making an attempt to change or grow? Change and growth are both indicators in a healthy relationship or an effective relationship. Are you compromising the ability to have a good relationship because you've made a decision not to change or grow? That's my question to you. If you can answer that question and the answer is yes, and that you want to do something about it, reach out for help. Go to counseling, tell your partner, you know what, I'm ready to change. Let's have an honest to goodness conversation. What do you think I need to work on? without me getting defensive, without me telling you that you're wrong. You know, most times in a relationship, the person that's telling you things about yourself, they're not telling you things about yourself to hurt you, unless it's a whole different abusive relationship. They're telling you things about yourself because they're thinking, if you can just get rid of these things that are contaminants, then you will show up as your best authentic self. My name is Ingrid Felton. As always, thank you for visiting my YouTube channel today. Thank you for allowing me the privilege of coming into your home, wherever you are. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, for liking the videos, and for your comments and your continued support. As always, I hope that this helped you in some way. It's always a tidbit and a golden nugget. Take it and use it for your advantage, for your growth, and to change those things that truly can benefit the relationship. Bye.